Hello, everyone, and welcome today to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I am your host, Margie Curry, and today's session is with our certified yoga instructor, Becca Impello. Becca has been practicing and teaching yoga more than 20 years. Now, folks, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP in Alabama is committed to offering opportunities for people to stay engaged from your home. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your own home. Hey, Becca, good morning.
Good morning, Margie. How are you today?
I'm wonderful this nice, crisp morning.
Yes, it does feel nice outside.
It does. Tell us a little bit about what we'll be working on today.
Well, Margie, the last week I participated in an AARP of Alabama teletown hall. Some of our viewers may have tuned in to that little talk show kind of thing that the AARP runs. And we were talking about fall prevention because it's actually fall prevention month right now. So I did a lot of speaking about balance and ways to help yourself improve your balance no matter what level of function you're at. And so today we're going to do a balance practice. We're going to practice all the things that might help us improve our balance and hopefully prevent falls.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent session. Everyone, please remember that before you start any program, please remember to check with your physician and make sure that it's safe for you to participate. So, okay, Becca, take it away.
All right. So like I said, our focus today is going to be on balance training. So I'll be talking throughout on just the ways to figure out the right level for you, each individual out there watching this today, for you to figure out what's the safest and still most beneficial way for you to work on improving your balance. So there's going to be a lot of, variety because we've got maybe a lot of different levels, people who are already balancing pretty well and can do most of these things without holding on, to people who maybe are a bit more limited in their mobility or maybe using an assistive device like a cane or a walker, but would still like to improve on their ability to maintain their balance. So we're going to start seated. We're going to sit in the chair and do some things that actually work with our feet and just kind of warm up the body a little bit. And we'll even do a few sort of drills that help us with our vestibular system. That's our inner ear, and that plays a big role in our balance as well as things like strength and really just simply practicing balance challenges. All right, so we'll start seated in the chair. Any sturdy kitchen chair will be great, or a dining room chair, and then we'll do some things standing, and you'll be able to hold on if that's where you need to stay, or you'll have that opportunity to let go if that's the appropriate place to challenge yourself. All right, so let's just sit tall in the chair. Now, I've got bare feet, but you don't have to, right? So if you're comfortable in bare feet, you can certainly take your shoes off, and that's just going to bring you even just a little more awareness of your feet and your ankles, but it's perfectly fine to keep socks and shoes on. That might be the safer way for you to go, especially once we get on your feet. So everything that we're doing is going to have benefit no matter what level you're doing it at, okay? All right, so let's just take a few moments to breathe in and out. You can let the arms come with you if you'd like. Inhale and just take a nice breath in. Reach those arms up. Exhale. And bring those hands right down to your lap. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. The biggest breath that you can comfortably make. Taking these breaths just helps us bring our focus to what we're doing. Harnesses our attention and awareness. All right, let the hands rest in your lap. Turn the head side to side. Maintaining mobility in your neck and in your upper back, your spine generally is an important way to help you with balance and fall prevention, because it means that you can turn to look around you with more ease. All right. So, a lot of things we do that you might not think were related to balance could actually be helpful in some, sort of adjunct way. All right. Now, let's drop the head down and up a few times. Again, just working on that mobility in the neck area, warming up here. These movements of the head are also going ahead and stimulating our vestibular, our inner ear. So when we move our head around in space, that gives our brain practice with detecting exactly whether we're up or down or falling or staying upright, all that kind of information. All right, now let's roll the shoulders, bring those shoulders up and back. Make it a nice, comfortable circle. Kind of feels like a nice massage to that upper back. I always like to do this one. Good. All right, now let's just take a little gentle twist, again, to help further loosen up the spine. So you're turning in one direction, maybe bringing that hand across to the opposite knee. Other arm could be on the chair or reaching back behind you. Let's release this and go to the other side. Take a little easy twist in that other direction. All right, and back to center. All right, so our ankles and our feet are, a main source of correction and adjustment when we're on our feet, when we're standing, walking, and trying to maintain our balance. So we're going to do just a little bit right now just to improve our own awareness and mobility and movement for the feet and the ankles. So you can hold on to the chair if you need to. Go ahead and pick up one leg out in front. You could even have that heel resting on the ground if you need to. And let's just point and flex that foot. And I want you to really pay attention. Look at your foot with your eyes. Really try to notice the feeling of moving that foot and ankle through space. Let's circle, make it a slow circle. Again, watching and feeling as best you can. We're just trying to really get the brain tuned in to feeling this foot and ankle as it moves. Go the other direction. Circle a few more times. Good, and then place that foot back down. Let's do the other side. Start with that point and flex. Remember, you're putting your vision on that foot, watching that foot and ankle move. Trying to really notice the sensation of moving it back and forth. Go ahead and make a few circles. Keep them slow so that they're under more control. And again, we're going to get more information back to our brain when we move a little more slowly. Go the other direction with that circle, still slow, maybe slower than before. And then bring that leg down. All right. Now, a couple of other movements that we're going to make, things that sort of simulate what might be happening in our foot and ankle when we're standing and trying to keep our balance. So, what I'd like you to do is roll to the outer edge of your feet and just see if you can pick up the insides, the big toe side. Try not to let your knees get too wide. See if you can keep them together. And then drop your foot down and try to pick up the outer edge of the feet. Again, not too much knocking of the knees, although you may find that they have to move a little bit. And then we're just trying to go back and forth. So we're just rolling that foot in and out, simulating some of the movements that happen in our foot and ankle when we shift our weight, especially if we were shifting our weight on one foot or one leg, like when we're walking. Good. All right, now let's see if we can work with the toes. So even if your toes are inside shoes or socks, I want you just to do the best you can to see if you can get some movement out of them. Sometimes they're hard to feel. You may not sense them that easily, but this is where you start. You start by trying. Over time, your brain gets better at feeling those toes. So see if you can just spread out, pick up and spread out your toes any amount. You can spread your fingers too. Sometimes that helps. If you can put your eyes on your feet, do that too, so you see what's happening. And then try to scrunch or curl the toes, okay? And then just go back and forth. We're trying to open and spread the toes and then scrunch and curl the toes. Again, we're trying to just stimulate those feet, trying to get that part of the brain that controls the movement of our feet and ankles. We're trying to get that part of the brain really more active before we stand up. So these are just a few of the things that could help your balance, especially with repeated practice. Improving this awareness of the foot and ankle is one of the things, one of the ways. All right, now before we stand up and start to work on balancing on our feet, we're going to do a little bit more for our vision and that vestibular system. These are the other parts of our nervous system that affect our balance. All right, so we're going to use our hands. I want you to just take one hand out and just kind of have that thumb just up and out as far as you can and put your eyes on it. All right, and you're going to follow and bring that thumb right to the middle and match it up with your other thumb, and then take that thumb down and away, and then bring that thumb back. You're following with your eyes. Taking one thumb up and out, then bringing it to the middle. You're trying to keep your eyes on that thumb the whole time. Now you could go a little faster once you get this rhythm. Turning the head and keeping the eyes on the thumbs. One more in this direction. All right, and then we're going to do the other way. So take that other thumb up high and out. Bring it to the middle, meet the other one, take that thumb down and low, and keep going. Once you have that pattern, see if you can increase that speed at all. Now, if you find yourself getting dizzy with any of these activities, especially these ones involving the head and the eyes, you should stop. Just stop and let that dizziness go away. All right, last time. Good. Drop those arms, hands down. All right, just take a moment. See if you need to let your eyes adjust. They may feel a little funny after that. All right, and now without any hands, we're going to just stimulate that vestibular system again by closing the eyes right here in the chair and turning the head right and left. Now, you don't need to make this as big a motion as you might be if you're trying to stretch. You can make it small. Now go in the center, eyes are still closed, and nod that head up and down. And then turn it side to side, maybe a little bit faster. It could be smaller. Again, if you get dizzy, stop. So you're turning the head side to side, eyes closed, but you're trying to go a little faster with that shake. And then let's go back to up and down. Again, a little faster. It could be a smaller motion. All right, good. All right, open the eyes. Let's come on up to standing. All right, so everything we just did was seated, so pretty safe for everybody that can sit upright. Once we get up on our feet, you have some decisions to make to keep yourself appropriately challenged, but also safe, right? And that's certainly the first priority. If you've had a history of falls, if you have a history of dizziness or neuropathy or anything that you know is really impairing your balance, make sure that you have something very sturdy to hold on to. You might even want to put yourself kind of up close to a wall so that if you lost your balance backwards, you would touch something pretty quickly. So you just want to take whatever precautions you need to keep yourself safe. If you're on the other end of the scale and you feel like you're doing pretty well, you haven't noticed any balance problems, you haven't had any issues with falls, but you want to make sure that you don't develop that as you continue to age, then you may find you're not needing to hold on to much at all. All right. So we're going to start by finding our narrowest base of support that we can practice in, right? So you bring your feet towards close together. Okay, some of us are going to be able to go feet all the way together, big toes touching. If that feels like it's already too much of a challenge for you, you might decide to have your feet a little bit apart. And again, you're always got that option to be holding on or trying to let go. Okay, so we're bringing those feet close together. Get those feet active. See if you can really bring your awareness to those feet, those ankles, those toes from what we did earlier. All right, and then choosing to hold on or not hold on, we're going to add some of this head and eye movement that we did a moment ago. And it doesn't have to be the thumbs, right? So we're not doing it that way, just turning the head. And get more creative than just looking right and left. Try looking all around, like you're scanning your surroundings, like you're looking for something, okay? Looking for something on the floor, looking for something up in the air. Even try and look behind you any amount. All right, now another thing we can do here is keep the head still, but close the eyes. So you can give that a try. Again, you might be holding on even while you close your eyes. You might be trying to let go. And you'll know that you're in somewhat of a challenge, right? That you're stimulating your balance system if you feel yourself wobbling, if you feel those feet and ankles making some of those movements, if you feel your body sort of listing a little bit right and left or forward and back, then you know that your system is having to work a little bit to correct itself in space. It's getting that practice that we want. So we want to find some challenge, but still stay safe. All right, so eyes open. Let's see about progressing to more challenging positions if that's right for you. So if you were pretty steady or you felt confident as long as you had something to hold on to, you might try taking your feet now to a tightrope stance. Okay, now maybe tightrope isn't quite what you're ready for, but you want to take a step and your feet might be apart. So that's another way of doing this. So we can go into that tightrope. Again, you might be holding on, you might be letting go. And you can see about turning the head, looking all around, right? Looking up and down. Yeah, now I already feel a good bit more challenged. My legs are quivering a little bit. I feel the muscles twitching. I feel my feet moving. I'm having to just touch that chair every now and then to regain some steadiness. And if you find yourself just completely wobbling constantly or just falling out of that position, then maybe it's a little too challenging for you. You need to go to something a little bit less. Now let's try bringing the head center, but closing the eyes. Some of us may find that closing the eyes is super, super challenging or more challenging, or it stimulates more to happen than turning the head. Other people may find that it's turning the head that's really the challenge, right? So it depends on how strong your visual versus your vestibular system already is. All right, let's take this and switch to the other foot forward. And this is important. You do want to do both sides because typically the back leg is doing a little bit more of the work of stabilizing you. So you want to train both sides. So take the other foot forward, either in your step stance or your tightrope stance. And again, let's start with turning the head. Be aware of those feet. Looking all around. These are simple things that I recommend that you know, if you find one or two of these things that you notice are a pretty, appropriate challenge for you, you might try and do them, several times a week on your own. Just take 5 minutes, practice your balance and standing. All right, now let's try closing the eyes with this stance. And you might have to touch. Everyone's going to be at a different place with this. So don't use what I'm doing as the judge on whether you're doing well or not. I may not have to touch the chair as often as some of you, or some of you may not have to touch it as much as me. All right. And then let's take those feet apart. Now I want you just to, everybody stand so that they can hold on to that chair, go up and down on your tiptoes a few times. Again, anything we can do to strengthen around the foot and the ankles is going to over time help us with balance, because it gives us just more strength and responsiveness in those muscles that are typically helping to catch us. Good. Now let's just take a little stretch break, walk the feet back so that the arms lengthen out, the spine gets close to horizontal, and stretch back into those hips. All right, walk it in. Now, another way that we can really work on both challenging our balance, just practice keeping our balance on our feet, but also improve the strength and responsiveness in our foot and ankle, is to stand on one leg. All right, so that may be quite a challenge. So if you need to hold on firmly, but you can still stand on that one leg for a few seconds, you're still getting some benefit. You're still getting the benefit of challenging that one leg, foot, and ankle to hold your body in space, right? So let's stand with one foot up. You might continue to hold on. You might find that you can try letting go. Of course, you still have those other options. You might feel like you're steady enough here with one leg to add those other things we did before, such as turning the head or closing the eyes. It's going to be a lot more challenge, and maybe you're not ready for it, but if you are, please give that a try. You might decide you've already been on one leg long enough and it's time to take a break. So you could take a break. You could do that stretch again. Let's give it a moment to close the eyes if you want to try that. So even if you're holding on, you could close the eyes and still get a little more challenge to your balance systems. All right, let's switch legs. So standing on that other leg, this is another one I recommend you just try to do at home in a safe space where you can hold on to something, but you just practice several times a week. Stand on one leg, even if you're holding on. Remember, that's okay. But you'll get that practice, and you'll see if you're doing it regularly that it gets a little easier over time. So if you want to try turning the head on this other single leg, you could try moving the head and eyes around in space. Maybe closing the eyes. All right, and then let's take another stretch back like we did a moment ago. All right, and then bring it back in. Now, a lot of that stuff we've just done may not particularly look like traditional or classic yoga, although I would say that anything that you're doing with that kind of attentive awareness still counts as yoga, and we are working on training our brain and our body. All right, so but let's finish out with a yoga posture that's known for its balance challenge, and we've done that in here before, and it's another single leg stance. So we're pretty good prepared. We've practiced a lot of things that'll get us ready for this, and you still have that option to hold on, of course. So put the weight in one leg. For tree pose, we try and turn the other leg out so that the knee points out to the side. Bring that foot anywhere from the floor up to the ankle, the calf, the thigh, even wherever you want to place it. And then firm up that standing leg. Try to squeeze the hips together. Maybe bring one or both hands up in front of the chest. Again, you might be needing to hold on the whole time, or you might be able to let go. And even within this classic yoga posture, we could use some of those other elements that we've already been playing with to challenge it further if you needed to, right? You could look around. You could close your eyes. You could raise the arms or change the arm position. That's another way to just change things up for your body. Good. One more breath in tree pose. And then bring it down, shake it out. So sometimes people will say to me, oh, I'm just, I can't really do tree pose, or, I'm not good at tree pose. And I don't want you to think about it like that. Whatever challenge you're getting is what you need, right? So if you're feeling challenged in a one-legged balance posture like tree, great. It's a great one for you to keep doing, because it means that your system is getting something out of it. Let's go to that other leg, standing strong on the other leg, turning the knee out and placing that foot somewhere on the inside of that leg. Squeeze the hips together. Try to lift up nice and tall. You might focus your eyes on one spot. That's a way to sort of help you hold more steady in the moment, because your vision and your head is fixed, right? And so we know that moving them around creates more challenge. You might be letting go here in tree, or bringing one or both hands up to the heart. Maybe taking them out. Again, if you feel like tree pose is something that you can hold pretty steady, then you have that option of looking around a bit, see what that does for you. All right, and bring it down. Let's take one more little stretch back, especially get those hips because of that tree pose. You might shift your weight side to side, just kind of push into one hip and then the other a bit. Good, and then walk it in. Let's sit back down to finish this up. So we'll come back to sitting in the chair. I'm just taking a moment here just to check in with your body. What do you notice in your body right now? Maybe you're still, a little more heightened awareness of the feet and the ankles. Maybe you can sense the hips, or maybe even the trunk. You may have noticed during that practice of balance that, your movement, your responsiveness happened in various places in your body. You may have noticed that what really got you wobbling was when you turned your head, or maybe it was when you closed your eyes. So that gives you some information on the systems that you might benefit from stimulating and practicing a little more frequently in order to improve your balance. Now let's just finish up with a little stretch out for the hips, because again, we use those a good bit. So let's try taking one ankle up to the opposite knee, or you could also cross that ankle down below the knee on the shin or the ankle. So you pick the position that feels right for your hip and your knee. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe lean into this a little bit. Just see how that feels as far as giving you a little more stretch in the hip. And then bring it up. Let's switch sides, crossing that other leg at the knee or below the knee on the shin or the ankle could be where you want to cross it. Sit up tall, maybe lean into it. And then bring it back to sitting. Let yourself just sit back for a moment. Close your eyes or gaze down at the floor. Hands rest in your lap. Let's just take a few moments here to close up our practice. Breathe in and breathe out. Check in and see what you learned today about ways to challenge your balance. Where are you in terms of what are the types of activities, the things that we did that are the ones that challenge you appropriately and will give you the most benefit to practice over time. Let the hands come up to the heart, sit a little taller, and bow the head. Thank you all for joining myself and AARP of Alabama. I hope this was a helpful session in giving you some tools to continue working on your balance.
Thank you, Becca. We do have a question for you in the chat. Would you check on that? Someone wants to know, is there a good way for you to use to remind yourself to breathe deeply through all the movements?
Well, anytime you notice yourself maybe not breathing deeply, if you notice that, oh, hey, I'm kind of holding my breath here, well, then that's the best reminder that you can have, because
Okay.
your awareness is improving of your own body. So when you notice that you're, maybe holding your breath or shortening your breath, try and take a deeper breath. You also may find that, okay, once I've gotten myself, kind of in the position I need to be in, then I'm going to stay here for 3 or 4 or 5 more breaths. And if you kind of think about, okay, I'm here, I'm going to stay. Now's my time to really focus on breathing. That's also a good way to bring your attention back around to your breathing once you're, kind of where you want to stay in the posture or the stretch, and then, focus on the breathing as well.
Excellent help. Excellent. Very helpful session today. We thank you so very much, Becca. That was wonderful. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. Tune in Tuesdays at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time for the next session of Mindful Movement. We'll see you later. Thanks a lot, Becca.
Bye, Margie.